All right, ladies and gentlemen, living the perfect goodness of the Tao. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. We are reading from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Living the Wisdom of the Tao. And today's verse, or today's chapter from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, his extrapolation on the 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching is called Living the Perfect Goodness of the Tao. And this should be just fascinating. I'm extremely interested to see what this verse goes into and what Dr. Wayne Dyer goes into and what we can extrapolate and learn and apply to our life in our attempt to, take the level of our life to a much higher level, live a much higher quality of life, and in turn improve the quality of those around us and those that we encounter in our lives, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't that sound good? So let's dive right into, thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen, the 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching. The 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching begins with, "The eternal Tao has no name." And before I go into the rest of it, that's one of the great teachings throughout all of this. When you're talking about whatever it is, whether it's the Tao or the great force, great spirit, divine, animating, unifying intelligence. The eternal Tao has no name. Now, reading in its entirety the 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching. The eternal Tao has no name. Although simple and subtle, no one in the world can master it. If kings and lords could harness them, the 10,000 things would naturally obey. Heaven and earth would rejoice with the dripping of sweet dew. Everyone would live in harmony by no official decree, but by their own goodness. Once the whole is divided, the parts need names. There are already enough names. No wind to stop. No wind, reason sets limits to avoid peril. Rivers and streams are born of the ocean, and all creation is born of the Tao. Just as all water flows back to become the ocean, all creation flows back to become the Tao. Wow, that's an awesome one, ladies and gentlemen. I love how it's that part about the 10,000 things. It's like if kings and lords could harness them, then the 10,000 things would naturally obey. It's like when you can become one with the simple and subtle force, not in mastering it, but in harmony. By no official degree and by our own goodness, we would all live. And the 10,000 things, that being the world, when the whole is divided, the parts need names. So that's the 10,000 things, all the parts that we gave names to when we divided the oneness of everything into all these separate things that we think are not just one thing or part of the one thing. And then it describes the ocean. It's like rivers and streams or trees and people are born of the ocean or are born of the source, of the force, the Tao. Now, let's dive into what Dr. Wayne W. Dyer has to say about this 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching. And his title, once again, was Living the Perfect Goodness of the Tao. In this verse, Wayne Dyer begins, Lao-tzu describes the ecstasy of being truly on the same page as your source. What you might describe as open-heartedness or joy is the simple and subtle flow of the Tao energy that is responsible for all life. And no effort on your part is even necessary. And see, that's one of the things that's so hard for people to understand when it comes to going with the flow, or kind of just going with life and being able to respond with ability rather than feeling responsible for everything that's coming at you in life. You're going through life with an ability to respond because you are in harmony with the force or the flow. And no effort is needed from your part for it to flow. However, when you provide correct effort, you can surf, so to speak, the flow. Now, Lao-tzu opens this verse with a reminder that no one, not you, me, or even the most powerful king or dictator, can rein in or master this force. Now, I believe, this is just me thinking, that you can, like I was just saying, create an ability to respond, but you don't ever master the force. The force is much greater than us, and it just flows through all of us, and we are a part of it, whether we choose to tune in or not. But ladies and gentlemen, even though you can't master the force, please know that you can tune in and connect and harmonize and begin using the force to create a much higher quality of life in your own life and the lives of the people around you. Now, nobody can rein in or master this force of the Tao. If it were under our control, then all of nature and its 10,000 things would celebrate, because we'd live in peace and harmony. Interesting. When we're able to live and breathe the perfect peace and harmony, and the goodness that is the Tao, wars, famine, and conflict, and other negative human creations cease to exist. The challenge presented in this 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching is how to live in our physical world in unison with the eternal, always molding and always creating Tao, or force, or God. A lot of people call it God because of how we've thought of these things throughout the centuries, but it depends where you come from. Because a lot of people also think of God as a person rather than a great force or a great universal, animating, always creating, always molding energy, or power, Tao, the great way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look at what you desire to bring into your life. And see, that's one of the subjects we're always talking about, is the keys to manifesting through this great wisdom of the Tao and the wisdom of the ages that we read on Wednesdays, which will be tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what you desire to bring into your life. Then in the context of this sweet verse, feel grateful for everything you encounter. Express gratitude by riding the flow of your existence, riding the flow of your existence and allowing it to be your ally. Allow it to be your ally. And you can steer while still enjoying this glorious ride. But if you elect to fight it, just like think about swimming here, if you elect to fight it, you'll ultimately get pulled under by its current. This is true for every aspect of your life. The more you push against it, the more resistance that you create. Remember, what you resist will persist. You have to begin to harmonize. Be aware of anything that's directing you toward activities that truly ignite your passions. And you can tell when somebody is passionate about something, ladies and gentlemen. And it's wonderful, the kind of life essence and life energy and life force, Tao, they, exhibit or exude or whatever it is, express. You can feel it, even from a distance. Be aware of anything that's directing you towards activities that truly ignite your passion. And that's key every day in life. Always be thinking about, because this goes back to Oh, ancient wisdom. I was trying to think of his name. I don't think it was Confucius. No, it's going to bother me. But anyways, it wasn't Plato. Anyways, it's one of those ancient things. Know thyself, ladies and gentlemen. And in order to do that, you have to ask yourself, what is it that I really want? And then you begin to notice the things that ignite your passion. Continuing on, if events seem to be taking you in a new direction in your work, for instance, or signs point to changing your job or location, pay attention. Don't get pulled under by refusing to budge and continuing a familiar, frustrating routine, which so many of us do, and then justifying your fear of change and why it is you don't want to do where the universe may be trying to send you on purpose. That was my own addition there. Wayne Dyer continues, recognize the Tao energy coursing through your life and quit fighting your calling. And a lot of people think, well, I'm already 53 years old. It's too late for me to recognize my calling. And it's like, you know, some people when they're 86 wander into a Berlitz course just because they want to learn German or French or, you know, Spanish or whatever it is. And other people at 50 years old say it's too late and there's nothing I can do about anything. And it's like, you can see the difference, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the difference. One of Wayne Dyer's great things is he's like, if you didn't have a great childhood, you're never too old to have a great childhood. He goes, the amusement parks are open. He goes, go down there. They'll let you in. They want you to ride the rides. He's like, come on, ladies and gentlemen, get your head out of your hands. Oh, hilarious. He gets on some great rants. If you've never listened to Dr. Wayne Dyer talk in his speeches, he's a wonderful speaker. He makes it a lot of fun to learn this wisdom. And that's why we're here today, ladies and gentlemen, because we're trying to change our thoughts and change our lives. We're trying to change the way we look at the world in order to change the world that we look at. Because when you change the way that you see things, the things that you see begin to change. You know, and a simpler way to put that is like, you can find whatever it is you're looking for in the world. There's plenty of it. So if you're looking for, you know, hate and evil and people, you know, hurting each other, you can find that if you look for it. But if you want to find peace and harmony and brotherhood and sisterhood and people coming together and helping each other, you can find just as much of that as well. But it really depends what you're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. And the more of us that are looking for the evil, the negative, how bad it is, and this is what the media's got us trained to do. If you haven't turned off the media yet, then I'm so sorry, because you're still being influenced by that. Look at how bad it is. Look at how terrible the world is. But when I look out in the world, when you look out your front door or your window, I guarantee it's not bad. In fact, it's good. You'll probably see people walking their dogs or, you know, enjoying the breeze. Either one. Anyways, I was rambling, ladies and gentlemen. Let us continue with Dr. Wayne W. Dyer's extrapolation of the 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching, coming from change your thoughts, change your life, living the wisdom of the Tao. Don't get pulled under by refusing to budge and continuing a familiar, frustrating routine and then justifying your fear to change. Recognize the Tao energy coursing through your life and quit fighting your calling. I watch my young son on a surfboard, Wayne Dyer says, each day of the summer here on Maui. He loves the thrilling ride as he accelerates by going with the wave. He's not attempting to control it by prolonging it, forcing it to move in a different direction. I use this as a metaphor for my life, for I write in the flow. And so I'll add for each one of us, whatever it is that we're doing, even if it's, working, whatever kind of work you do, you can be in flow while you're doing it. And that's another topic in its own right to research, flow state, and the science and chemistry, mental chemistry that goes with activating flow state. But we can always be in this flow, ladies and gentlemen. Wayne Dyer says, I allow thoughts in his writing. He allows thoughts and ideas to come in and move on to the page. He allows himself to be carried by the great wave of the Tao in all of his decisions, which brings him peace. That's because I trust, Wayne Dyer says, in the perfect goodness of the Tao to guide me, direct me, and take me where it will. And you don't have to call it the Tao if you want to do this same thing with the Force, the universal intelligence, whatever it is you call it, ladies and gentlemen. Lao-tzu urges you to become one with it. You and I were like the rivers and streams that Lao-tzu mentions in this verse. We were born of the Tao, our source of being, and we're returning to the Tao. The return trip is inevitable, can't be stopped. So watch your body as it goes through its changes, noting that it does so in the same way that rivers head down the ocean to reemerge and become one with it. Lao-tzu urges you to know when to stop driving yourself, advising you to instead jump into the oceanness, the oneness, excellent, the oneness, and avoid all manner of difficulties that he calls your peril. Flow with the Tao. In everything you do, give up the need to be in charge, which is very challenging for many of us. Letting go. So, this is back to how to let go and go with the flow and be in harmony with the Force. I don't know what, I was thinking of a title there. I don't know what to call it. I think most people would recognize God. They'd be like, oh yeah, you're talking about God, but they wouldn't know what kind of force and animating intelligence that we're talking about here. Flow with the Tao in everything you do. Give up the need to be in charge, which is just your ego working overtime. You cannot force the Tao. Let it carry you by relaxing into it with a trust of faith. Remember the oceanness or the oneness. Take a lot of deep breaths like that throughout your life. It'll really change the quality of your life. It'll make you much more peaceful and comfortable. Now, let us continue. As you ride this glorious wave of the Tao, consider this advice from Alan Watts, one of our favorite mystics and teachers on these great mystical subjects, especially of the Eastern traditions. The watercourse way. Alan Watts in Tao, the watercourse way. So Alan Watts must have a book called Tao, the Watercourse Way. And we must get that book, ladies and gentlemen, because Alan Watts is one of my favorites. I listened to probably over 100 hours of his lectures from the 70s or whenever it was, 60s and 70s. And that was what really got me started on this deep spiritual journey that I've been on since 2012, 2013. And I bet it started for many of us then. I believe that was around the time when we switched from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, according to the cosmic calendar. Now, that's a whole different subject in itself. This is what Alan Watts was talking about in the Tao, the Watercourse Way. Let your ears hear whatever they want to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Let your eyes see whatever they want to see. Let your mind think whatever it wants to think. Let your lungs breathe in their own rhythm. Do not expect any special result. For in this worldless and idealist state, where can there be past or future? And where any notion of purpose? Alan Watts knows how to take you deep. Stop, Wayne Dyer says. Look and listen right now before you go on reading. Before you go on listening to this video, now we can continue. Yes, get in the perfect goodness of the Tao right now. And if you need to pause, ladies and gentlemen, do what Alan Watts was talking about there. Stop. Let your ears hear whatever they want to hear. Let your eyes see whatever they want to see. And just let the ideas, I can call them pops, just pop into your head and then flow away. Let your mind think whatever it wants to think. And listen to the world around you. And get in this perfect goodness of the Tao now. This is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing the Tao now on Tuesday, living the wisdom of the Tao. So if you're getting value after you've taken your moment of Tao-ness, which you should do every day for at least 20 minutes, starting with 1 minute if you've never done it before, to get in connection with yourself and the universe, the Tao. And, oh yeah, consider subscribing. But anyways, in your business, Wayne Dyer continues, in your relationships, in your career, in your everything, stop, listen for your passion, and then allow yourself to be taken there by the ceaseless tide of all creation, which continues in spite of your ego's opinions. Here is what Lao-tzu seems to be saying to you, to me, through me, to you, to all of us, through Lao-tzu, implementing the ideas of this 30-second verse of the Tao Te Ching. And this is why you want to get this book, because after every sweet, wonderful, amazing little chapter about these verses of the Tao, this great wisdom of the ages, he gives us practical ways that we can put this philosophy into action in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, and begin to maintain happiness through enlightenment in our lives. Number one, pay attention to the flow of your life. Remind yourself that you don't have to be in charge, that in fact, it is impossible for you to be in charge. The nameless force, which Lao-tzu calls the Tao, moves everything. So your continual argument with it only causes dissatisfaction. Each day, practice letting go and seeing where you're directed. Take note of who shows up and when. Observe the strange coincidences that seem to collaborate with fate and in some way steer you in a new direction. This is like how to begin the manifesting process. Keep track of situations that occur spontaneously or out of the realm of your control. Look for new. This is number two now. Look for new. Look for a new joyous feeling within you, not coming from outside of you. So often we're looking for external things to fix our life, external things to save us, external things to make us feel better. And when the external things are not there, we do not feel good. Our life is not fixed. You know, all of whatever it is we're trying, when we want to be happy and we're looking for external things, when the external things are gone, we are not happy. So this is a faulty process, ladies and gentlemen. The correct process would be to have internal happiness, strength. You know, you are your own savior. You're your own guru. We are our own masters, ladies and gentlemen. And when we're no longer looking outside of ourselves for all of those things, we will not need to depend on the external, and we will never be without them because they are within us. Look for a new joyous feeling within you. As you move in the direction of loosening the leash, so to speak, you'll become keenly aware of the exhilaration of the Tao flowing through you in your life. And you will start to see it, ladies and gentlemen, once you can become in union, in harmony. And this is where meditation becomes almost imperative to do in order to get to this place of beginning to recognize the harmony. Begin to see, and it also comes with the non-judgment of the entire universe. And you begin to feel this, you become keenly aware of this exhilaration of the Tao force flowing through you and through your life. And you begin to see it in the lives of others when they don't even recognize it, which is interesting. Begin to see, though, what your passions are and how they're stirred up as you allow the ride to be directed by your source rather than ego. These joyous feelings are clues that you're becoming in harmony, and you're beginning to harmonize with what Lao-tzu calls your own goodness. Remember back in the verse, it was like, but not, as it goes, if kings and lords could harness them, the 10,000 things would naturally obey. Heaven and earth would rejoice with the sweet dripping of dew. Everyone would live in harmony, not by official decree, but by your own goodness. And so we're in this harmony. This is what we're talking about. Your enthusiastic inner receptivity is your reminder that all is perfect. So trust that energy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, at the end of each of these chapters, just like the practical ways we can put this into our life, he concludes with one called Do the Tao Now. And how we can do the Tao now, like we start the video with every day. It's Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do the Tao now by reading Dr. Wayne W. Dyer's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, and by changing our thoughts, and in turn, changing our life. Do the Tao now, Wayne Dyer says. Pick a time today, perhaps between noon and 4 p.m., to consciously, and man, I wish I could get more people to do this more often. Like seriously, this would change the entire world. To consciously, like knowingly, free your mind, Wayne Dyer continues, from attempting to control the events of your life. And by even attempting to control, anyways, free your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Go for a walk. And this is a type of meditation. I got to listen to more Alan Watts. I forgot the names of these things, but there's a type of Zen meditation that is the walking Zen, the walking meditation, to where you feel your feet on the ground, or you feel your shoes in your feet touching. You feel the wind blowing on your face, and you hear, you feel, you listen, you hear, you get carried away by the universe itself, the nature. And, go for a walk, Wayne Dyer continues, simply let yourself be carried along, letting your feet go where they will. Observe everything in your line of vision. Notice your breath. That's another key point. Notice your breath. The sounds you hear, the wind, the clouds, their formations, the humidity, the temperature, everything. And this, see, people think you got to sit down and cross your legs and be in a certain setting to meditate. This is how you meditate, ladies and gentlemen. Simply let yourself be immersed and transported, and notice how it feels to just go with the flow, ladies and gentlemen. Now decide to let freedom be your guide. That'd be a good little piece of a poem there. Now decide to let freedom be your guide. Realize that the traffic, the people in your life, the stock exchange, the weather, the tides, all of it is taking place at its own pace, in its own way. You can move with the eternal, perfect Tao as well, ladies and gentlemen. So after everything we've talked about in this video and this extrapolation on the 32nd verse of the Tao and the 32nd verse of the Tao itself, and what Alan Watts had to say, go out there now, be it, be the Tao. Do the Tao now, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. That was Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. That was the 32nd verse of the Tao Te Ching, and that was Tuesday Tao here on the Chase Corrington YouTube channel. I know I got value from that, ladies and gentlemen. That was fantastic. If you enjoyed the heck out of that, it's a boom to wisdom. Leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. Smash the like button and consider subscribing, because these are the kind of things that can not only change our lives, but if we begin to be the example, if we begin to be the change that we want to see in the world, you know, if we want to see people living in a different, new, better, you know, better's relative to each of our own perspectives, but a higher way, more conscious, a higher quality of life, then we need to be the example, ladies and gentlemen. Because when people look in the mirror, that is the world, and they see other people having a much better life, sometimes they're jealous, but eventually they make it to a point to where they ask themselves, how is it that I can begin to do that for myself? And I think that's where we all need to get. You see somebody that's more successful, and this comes with also more spiritual practice on your own, is you let go of the judgment of others, and you begin to see everybody as on their own path, and it is all perfect. And then you start to see these really happy, healthy, or successful people, and you wonder to yourself, with no judgment anymore, you go, how is it that they're doing this? And then you begin to see and you research these people and you realize that they're all just normal people. Some of them more lucky than others, some of them more unlucky than us. And that's when you really start to ask the question, if these happy or healthy or whatever it is that you're looking for, if there's examples of people in life, then there is a way that you can do it. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, if we begin to apply this wisdom of the ages, the wisdom of the Tao, of Lao-tzu and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Alan Watts and every poet and author that is in the wisdom of the ages that we'll be reading tomorrow, in all these great books, Socrates, maybe that's who the quote was earlier, Socrates, know thyself. But if we can begin to apply all this great wisdom of the ages and the wisdom of the Tao and Socrates and everybody, then we can begin, ladies and gentlemen, to become the example that eventually maybe other people will see and say, wow, they're really, you know, they really seem to be just flowing along with life, and that they don't run into a bunch of resistance and things just kind of happen easy for them. They're in the right place at the right time. And most people seem to call them lucky. But those who have advanced themselves to the level of non-judgment and knowing and connection will begin to see the universal mirror and begin to know that there is a way that they can do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. And so you'll begin to not only increase the quality of your own life, but the quality of the lives of those around you and those that you interact with during your journey through the physical world, ladies and gentlemen. Whew, what a wonderful topic. How to go with the flow. How to let go and go with the flow. Maybe let go is not right, because I'm talking about a kind of an active flowing. But most people will probably want to learn how to let go, and this would be a perfect video for that. And how to go with the flow and be in harmony with God. Powerful, ladies and gentlemen. If you got value, wow, sorry, that was probably a loud clap. If you got value, consider subscribing and smash the like button. And return tomorrow for Wisdom of the Ages, ladies and gentlemen. But most importantly, the thing that I want each of you to do is what was recommended at the end of that chapter, was to take some time each day, even if it's 1 minute or 4 minutes. You go walk for 2 minutes around the back of your house or wherever you live. If you live in a hut, go walk around the back of the hut. And then, if you live in a hut, you probably already have meditated quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen. But what I want each of you to do is take that time for yourself and let your ears hear what they hear, let your eyes see what they see, and let the thoughts that pop into your head just pop in, and don't judge them. Just let them flow and flow away, and another flows in. Then you begin to move beyond your thoughts, and you can get to a place where we all want to get, where what I'm trying to do most importantly on this channel for each and every one of us is we can get to the place where we're seeking to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment, ladies and gentlemen, through the wisdom of the ages. So continue to make happiness the way in your life, the activity that you bring to life as you go through it. And then when happiness is what you bring to life, when happiness is the way, ladies and gentlemen, the destination where we're always striving so intensely to get to, I'll be happy when I get there. It's what we're always saying to ourselves. It's like when we begin to make happiness the way, this destination of happiness becomes irrelevant because we're already there. And then we just enjoy the entire journey, including the destination, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate everybody that spends time here with me, with Lao-tzu, with Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, and all the great authors and poets from the wisdom of the ages. We'll be back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, with Wisdom of the Ages. I think the book's called 60 Days to Enlightenment, but as we know, it's been much longer than 60 days just going through these philosophies here since the start of this year on the channel. And both of these series go back to January 3rd and 4th, and every week till now. I think I skipped 1 week, but that's fine. It was the art of showing up that I was practicing back in the beginning, and it's had an impact, I think, on myself, and I hope on somebody else, and I hope in a positive way. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I could say thank you a million times because it really means a lot to me that you would spend your time with me. Check the description below. I've got the book linked. Also have my Etsy shop link below where you can get my landscape paintings. It was down for a couple days, but I paid the bill and it's back up, ladies and gentlemen, so you can purchase a painting if you'd like, and I'll ship it right to you. I ship them out in a couple of days. Once again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in the future with more living the wisdom of the Tao and the wisdom of the ages. No, 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 no.